I thought my twin sister died at birth until she showed up at my daughter's birthday party. Nothing could have prepared me for the family secret that was about to unravel before my eyes. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I've always felt like something was missing in my life, like a phantom limb that wasn't really there, but I could somehow still feel. My parents told me when I was 12 that I had a twin sister who died during childbirth. They named her Lily, while I was Lillian. Two flowers that were supposed to bloom together, my mother would say with that distant look in her eyes. But one was taken too soon. I'm 34 now, living in a suburb outside of Boston. My life looks perfect on paper. A loving husband named James, a beautiful 8-year-old daughter Emma, and a career as an interior designer that allows me to work from home most days. But that emptiness, that strange void, has always remained. Today is Emma's birthday, and our backyard is transformed into every 8-year-old's dream. Streamers hanging from trees, a bouncy castle in the corner, and a table piled with wrapped presents. I've spent the past week planning every detail, from the unicorn-themed cake to the personalized party favors. Emma deserves nothing less. "Lil, the ice is melting in the coolers," James calls from the patio, "and the first guests will be here in 20 minutes. "I'm almost ready," I respond, adjusting the birthday banner one last time. My perfectionism has been in overdrive lately, especially when it comes to Emma. Maybe it's because I want to give her everything I never had, a sense of completeness. The doorbell rings at exactly 3 o'clock. The Robertsons are always punctual, with their twins Madison and Mason holding identical wrapped packages. I've always watched twin siblings with a strange fascination, wondering what my life would have been like if Lily had survived. "Happy birthday to the birthday girl," Sarah Robertson exclaims as Emma rushes to greet her friends. More families arrive, filling our backyard with laughter and chatter. Everything is going according to plan until the doorbell rings again at 4:30. Strange, since all the invited guests have already arrived. "I'll get it," James says, heading inside. I barely notice, busy lighting the candles on Emma's cake. Minutes later, I feel a tap on my shoulder. "Lillian, there's someone here to see you," James whispers, his face uncharacteristically pale. "Who?" "We're about to do the cake," I reply, annoyed at the interruption. She says she's your sister." The world stops spinning for a moment. "That's impossible. You know my sister died. Just come inside, Lil." With shaking hands, I pass the lighter to Sarah and follow James into the living room. A woman stands by our fireplace, studying the family photos on the mantel. Her back is to me, but something about her posture, the way she holds herself, feels eerily familiar. She turns around and I'm looking at my own face, the same green eyes, the same small scar above the right eyebrow from a childhood accident I never had. The only difference is her hair, cut short while mine falls past my shoulders. "Hello, Lillian," she says, her voice steady but nervous. I'm Lily. The room spins, and I grip the back of our couch for support. "This isn't funny," I manage to say. "My sister died. Whoever you are—" "I didn't die," she interrupts. "That's what they told you, but it wasn't true. I've been trying to find you for years." "They? Who's they?" I can barely form coherent thoughts, let alone sentences. "Our parents." "Your parents," she corrects herself. "They gave me up for adoption right after we were born. They couldn't afford twins, and there were complications." James steps between us. "I think you should leave. This is our daughter's birthday party and—" "No," I say, surprising myself. "No, I want to hear what she has to say." Outside, I can hear children laughing, Emma's voice rising above the others. My daughter is waiting for me to bring her cake, to take pictures as she makes a wish and blows out her candles. But my entire world has just been upended by a stranger with my face who claims to be the sister I mourned my entire life. "You have a scar on your left knee from falling off a swing when you were 9, she says. "You're allergic to strawberries. You sleep with your right hand under your pillow." I stare at her, speechless. The knee scar, yes. But how could she know how I sleep? "I've been dreaming about you my whole life," Lily continues. Little fragments, glimpses. My adoptive parents thought I was making it up, having an imaginary friend. They didn't know about you until I was older and started searching. This is crazy, I whisper. If what you're saying is true, then my parents— Lil! Emma's voice calls from the backyard. Mom, we're waiting for the cake! Reality crashes back. I have to go, I tell Lily, my mind racing. My daughter— I understand, she says, reaching into her purse and pulling out a business card. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown. I'll be here for a week. Please call me when you're ready to talk. I take the card mechanically, tucking it into my pocket. I can't promise anything. That's fair, she replies. I've had years to prepare for this moment. You've had minutes. As she walks toward the door, she pauses. She looks like you, Lily says softly. Your daughter. I saw her through the window. After she leaves, I splash cold water on my face in the bathroom, trying to compose myself before returning to the party. In the mirror, my reflection stares back, and for the first time, I see not just myself, but the ghost of a sister I thought was gone forever. Pull it together, Lillian, I whisper to myself. Emma needs you right now. I rejoin the party, lighting the candles on Emma's cake with trembling hands. As my daughter's face glows in the candlelight, surrounded by friends and beaming with joy, I force a smile and push away the earthquake that just shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. But as Emma blows out her candles, I find myself making a wish too, for answers to questions I never knew I needed to ask. 3 days have passed since my world turned upside down. I haven't called the number on Lily's card. I haven't told my parents about her appearance at Emma's party. I've barely slept, spending nights staring at the ceiling while James snores beside me, oblivious to the storm raging in my mind. You need to talk to someone about this, James says over breakfast after Emma has left for school. Either call this woman and hear her out, or call your parents and ask them what the hell is going on. I push my untouched toast away. What if she's lying? What if this is some elaborate scam? Then you'll know and we can move on, he says reasonably. But Lil, you saw her. You said yourself she looks exactly like you. There are people who look alike in the world. Doppelgangers. James reaches across the table and takes my hand. You've always felt something was missing. Maybe this is why. I pull my hand away, not ready for comfort. If my parents lied about something this huge, what else have they lied about? My entire childhood would be based on fiction. There's only one way to find out. After James leaves for work, I sit in our quiet house, Lily's business card burning a hole in my pocket. The card is simple. Lily Andrews, child psychologist, with a Portland, Oregon address and phone number. She lives on the opposite coast, has built an entire life without me. Finally, I take out my phone and dial my mother's number. Lillian, what a lovely surprise. My mother answers on the third ring. We missed our Sunday call this week. I've been busy, I say, my heart pounding. Mom, I need to ask you something important. Of course, dear. Is everything all right? How was Emma's party? I take a deep breath. Someone came to the party. Someone who looks exactly like me, who says her name is Lily. She says she's my twin sister and that you and Dad gave her up for adoption. The silence that follows tells me everything I need to know. Mom? My voice cracks. Where are you? She finally asks, her voice barely audible. I think your father and I should come over. So it's true. The confirmation hits me like a physical blow. You lied to me my entire life. Lillian, please. It's complicated. We never meant— I'll text you my address, I interrupt, unable to hear excuses over the phone. Come tomorrow at noon. James will be at work and Emma will be at school. I hang up before she can respond, my hands shaking. For a moment, I sit frozen, then frantically search for Lily's card again. Before I can second-guess myself, I dial her number. Lily Andrews, she answers professionally. It's Lillian, I say. Can we meet? 2 hours later, I'm sitting across from my twin sister in a quiet corner of a cafe downtown. Up close, the similarities between us are even more startling. The way we both tuck our hair behind our ears when nervous, how we both ordered the same drink without consulting each other. I called my mother, I begin. She didn't deny it. They're coming over tomorrow to explain. Lily nods. I'm glad. You deserve answers. So do you, I say. Will you come tomorrow? To meet them? She looks down at her coffee. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I've imagined meeting them so many times, but now that it's possible, how did you find me? I ask, changing the subject. It wasn't easy. I knew my birth name was Lily Parker and that I had a twin named Lillian. I hired a private investigator last year who tracked down the adoption records. Once I had your married name, social media did the rest. Why now, after all these years? Lily's expression changes, vulnerability flashing across her face. I was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder 6 months ago. Nothing life-threatening, she adds quickly, seeing my alarm. But it got me thinking about family medical history, genes, connections. I realized I couldn't put it off any longer. Are you okay? I ask, suddenly concerned for this stranger who shares my DNA. I'm fine now. Treatment worked. She smiles wryly. It's amazing how facing your mortality clarifies what's important. We spend the next hour exchanging the Cliff's Notes versions of our lives. Lily grew up in Oregon with loving adoptive parents who supported her search for her birth family. She's unmarried but in a long-term relationship with a woman named Claire. She became a child psychologist because she was fascinated by how early experiences shape us. I always felt like I was missing a piece of myself, she confesses. My adoptive parents tried to understand, but I felt the same way, I admit. Even knowing about you, or thinking I knew, something always felt off. As we talk, I begin to notice not just our similarities but our differences. Lily gestures more when she speaks. Her laugh is louder, less restrained than mine. She seems more comfortable in her skin somehow, while I've spent my life trying to fit into the perfect daughter, wife, and mother molds. Will you bring Claire to meet our parents tomorrow? I ask as we prepare to leave. Lily hesitates. Would that be okay with you? Of course. This affects her too. Then yes, we'll both come. She pauses, then adds, Thank you, Lillian, for not turning me away. I surprise myself by hugging her, this sister stranger who feels both foreign and familiar. See you tomorrow. As I drive home, my mind races with questions. How will my parents explain their decision? What will Emma think about suddenly having an aunt? And most troubling, what other secrets might be hiding beneath the surface of my carefully constructed life? My parents arrive precisely at noon, looking older and more fragile than I remember from their last visit 6 months ago. My father's shoulders slump under an invisible weight, while my mother clutches her purse like a shield. Lillian, my mother says, embracing me stiffly. You look tired. I haven't been sleeping well, I reply, leading them into the living room. I've had a lot on my mind. They sit together on the couch, holding hands like teenagers about to face the principal. I remain standing, needing the height advantage. Lily is coming here at 1, I inform them, watching their faces pale. I want you to explain everything to both of us. You've spoken to her? My father asks, his voice strained. Yes. She seems well adjusted, considering her entire existence was erased from our family history. My mother flinches. That's not fair, Lillian. Fair? I laugh bitterly. You told me my twin sister died. You took me to a grave every year with her name on it. Who's buried there, Mom? Dad? Who's in that cemetery plot? No one, my father admits, looking at the floor. It's empty. We purchased it when you were 10 because you kept asking questions about her. We thought it would give you closure. The calculated deception stuns me into silence. All those years of laying flowers at an empty grave, mourning a sister who was alive and well on the other side of the country. Why? I finally managed to ask. Why give her up? Why lie about it? My parents exchange glances, a silent communication passing between them. My mother nods slightly, and my father clears his throat. We were very young when you girls were born, he begins. I was still in grad school. Your mother had just started teaching. We weren't financially secure, and when we found out we were having twins. So you kept one and discarded the other? I interrupt. Like returning an extra item you couldn't afford? It wasn't like that, my mother insists, tears forming in her eyes. There were complications during the birth. Lily was smaller, weaker. She needed specialized care we couldn't afford. The hospital had a couple waiting to adopt, a doctor and his wife who couldn't have children. They could give her everything we couldn't. So you gave away the defective twin? The words taste bitter in my mouth. We made the best decision we could at the time, my father says defensively. We were told it would be better for both of you to be raised separately rather than have one child resent the other for getting more attention and resources. And the lie? Telling me she died? My mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. You were so young when you started asking about your birth. We thought it would be easier for you to think she was gone rather than knowing she was out there, unreachable. Unreachable by your choice, I point out. It was a closed adoption, my father explains. We had no way to contact her or her family, even if we wanted to. The decision was final. The doorbell rings, cutting through the tension like a knife. My heart leaps into my throat as I go to answer it, leaving my parents in the living room to compose themselves. Lily stands on the porch with a tall woman with curly red hair whom I assume is Claire. My sister's face is a mask of controlled emotion. They're here, I say unnecessarily, stepping aside to let them in. They've been telling me their version of events. Lily nods, gripping Claire's hand tightly as they follow me to the living room. The moment my parents see Lily, my mother gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. My father rises halfway from the couch, then sinks back down as if his legs won't support him. My God, he whispers. You look so much like Lillian, Lily finishes for him, like your daughter. An uncomfortable silence fills the room until Claire gently clears her throat. Perhaps we should all sit down. We arrange ourselves awkwardly, my parents still on the couch, Lily and Claire taking the love seat, while I perch on the arm of a nearby chair, not quite belonging to either group. I'm not here for reconciliation, Lily says directly to my parents. I'm here for the truth, and for Lillian. My mother nods, tears streaming down her face now. We owe you both that much. For the next hour, my parents share details they'd withheld from me. How they'd discovered they were having twins only a month before delivery, their financial struggles, the difficult birth that left Lily in the NICU for weeks. They described signing the adoption papers, being shown a single Polaroid of the couple who would raise their daughter. We received one letter a year later, my father says, just confirming that Lily was thriving in her new home. That was the extent of our contact. Did you ever regret it? Lily asks, her composure cracking slightly. Did you ever wonder about me? My mother reaches toward her, stopping when Lily tenses. Every day, every single day. But not enough to tell me the truth, I interject. Not enough to try to find her when you were financially stable. We convinced ourselves it was too late, my father admits. That disrupting her life, and yours, would cause more harm than good. That wasn't your decision to make, Lily says quietly. Not alone. Claire, who has been silently supportive throughout, speaks up. I think what's important now is deciding where everyone goes from here. The past can't be changed, but the future is still unwritten. My father nods gratefully at her intervention. We would like to be part of your life, Lily, if you'll allow it. I don't know, Lily replies honestly. I need time to process all this. And I need time too, I add, surprising myself. You've shattered my trust. I'm not sure I know who you are anymore. My parents accept this with resigned nods. As the conversation winds down, the doorbell rings again. James, coming home early from work, despite my assurances that I could handle this alone. The next few minutes are a blur of introductions and explanations. James, ever the diplomat, somehow eases the tension, offering coffee and suggesting we move to the more comfortable kitchen. As we migrate, I find myself next to Lily in the hallway, momentarily separated from the others. Are you okay? I ask her. She gives me a sad smile. Not really. You? Not even close. What happens now? She asks, glancing toward the kitchen where our parents are meeting James properly. I don't know, I admit. But I do know I'm not ready to lose you again. For the first time since she appeared at Emma's party, I see a genuine spark of hope in my sister's eyes. Eyes identical to my own, windows to a soul that somehow, despite everything, feels connected to mine. 1 month has passed since the day my family's foundations cracked wide open. Lily returned to Portland, but we've spoken every day. Long, meandering conversations that jump from childhood memories to favorite books to deeper questions about identity and belonging. Today, I'm at the airport with Emma, waiting for Lily and Claire's flight to arrive. It's Emma's first time meeting her aunt, and she's bubbling with questions. Will she look exactly like you, Mom? Like in the pictures? Yes, pretty much, I answer, smoothing her hair. But her hair is shorter, and she dresses a little differently. And she helps kids with their feelings? Emma continues, bouncing on her toes to see over the crowd. That's right. She's a child psychologist. Like a kid doctor for brains instead of bodies? I laugh. Something like that. Explaining the situation to Emma had been one of my biggest worries. But children have an amazing capacity to accept the unbelievable. So Grandma and Grandpa gave your twin sister to another family, and they told you she died, but she didn't really. Emma had summarized after my careful explanation. That's really mean, Mom. Out of the mouths of babes. My relationship with my parents remains strained. We've had several tense conversations, and while I understand their decisions more than I did initially, forgiveness is still a work in progress. They're trying, though. They've written Lily long letters about her birth, sent photos of me as a baby that could just as easily have been her, offered to answer any questions she might have. There they are! Emma shouts, pointing toward the gate. Lily waves as she spots us, quickening her pace. Behind her, Claire manages their luggage, smiling at Emma's enthusiasm. Hi, Lily says simply when she reaches us. We've moved beyond the awkward uncertainty of our first meetings, but there's still a moment of hesitation before we hug. Hi yourself, I reply, embracing my sister. Good flight? Not bad. Claire slept through the turbulence. I have a talent for sleeping anywhere, Claire admits, finally catching up. You must be Emma. Your mom has told us so much about you. Emma studies Lily with fascination. You look like Mom, but not exactly. Your smile is bigger. Lily laughs, demonstrating the difference. You're right. And you look like both of us when we were your age. As we head to the parking lot, Emma walks between Lily and me, occasionally glancing up to compare our features. It's like Mom got split in 2 people, she observes. Double the moms. I'm definitely not a mom, Lily assures her with a wink. More like the fun aunt who spoils you and teaches you things your parents wish I wouldn't. Like what? Emma asks eagerly. That remains to be seen, I interject, shooting Lily a warning look that makes her laugh. At home, James has prepared a welcome dinner. He's been my rock through all of this, never pushing me to reconcile with my parents before I'm ready, supporting my growing relationship with Lily without jealousy or reservation. The guest room is all set up, he tells Claire and Lily as he takes their bags. Emma insisted on putting wildflowers by your bed. I picked them myself, Emma announces proudly. From Mrs. Peterson's garden, but don't tell her. Emma, I exclaim, mortified, while everyone else laughs. Over dinner, the conversation flows more easily than I could have hoped. Emma monopolizes Lily's attention, asking about her work with children, her life in Portland, whether she has any pets. She doesn't, but Claire wants a dog. Later, after Emma has gone to bed, the 4 of us sit in the backyard with glasses of wine. The spring evening is cool but pleasant, fireflies beginning to appear in the gathering dusk. I've been thinking, Lily says after a comfortable silence, about nature versus nurture, how we turned out so similar in some ways despite growing up apart. And so different in others, I add. You're more outspoken than I am, more willing to take risks. You're more grounded, she counters. More patient, better at creating a home. Claire raises her glass. Two complementary traits. You two balance each other. I keep wondering what it would have been like to grow up together, I confess. Would we have been close or constantly fighting? Would I be more like you or you more like me? We'll never know, Lily says with a slight shrug. But maybe that's okay. We get to build a relationship now, as adults, based on choice rather than circumstance. James nods thoughtfully. There's something pure about that. No baggage from childhood squabbles, no competition for your parents' attention. Just the massive baggage of being separated at birth and lied to for 3 decades. Lily points out dryly, but she's smiling. There is that, I acknowledge. But here we are anyway. As the night deepens and stars appear overhead, our conversation turns to the future. Lily and Claire are considering relocating to the East Coast to be closer to us. I've begun researching our medical history more thoroughly, armed with new information from both sides of our family tree. James is helping me navigate the complex feelings about my parents, reminding me that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. Emma wants you to come to her school for career day next month, I tell Lily as the evening winds down. She thinks a feelings doctor is way cooler than an interior designer. She might be right, Lily teases. But I'd be honored. If you're sure it's not too soon? Too soon for what? For me to be that integrated into your life, your daughter's life. I reach across the table and take her hand. Lily, you're not an intruder. You're family. You always were, even when I thought you were just a ghost. Later, after Claire and James have gone inside, Lily and I remain in the backyard, twin silhouettes against the night sky. Do you ever think about how different our lives would be if they'd kept us both? She asks softly. All the time, I admit. But then I wouldn't have Emma, at least not as she is now. You wouldn't have met Claire. We wouldn't be the people we've become. No regrets then? Many regrets. But not about where we've ended up, just about the path we took to get here. Lily nods, understanding perfectly, as perhaps only a twin could. I used to dream about you, she says. Not knowing it was you, of course. Just a girl with my face who felt like home. I never dreamed about you, I tell her honestly. But I always felt your absence, like a shadow where a person should be. We sit in silence for a while, comfortable in a way I've rarely experienced with anyone outside my immediate family. There's a bond between us that transcends our shared DNA, a connection forged not just by blood, but by the parallel journeys we've taken to find each other. I'm glad you crashed Emma's birthday party, I say finally, even if it turned everything upside down. I almost didn't come in, Lily confesses. I sat in my rental car for an hour, watching the kids play in the backyard. I kept thinking about what right I had to disrupt your perfect life. It wasn't perfect, I tell her. No life is, but it's better now, with you in it. As we eventually head inside to join our partners, I realize that the emptiness I've felt my entire life has begun to fill. Not completely, perhaps, but enough that I can finally recognize it for what it was. Not just the absence of my twin, but the absence of truth. The lies my parents told shaped who I became, just as Lily's adoption shaped her. But the truth, however painful, has given us both a chance at wholeness neither of us thought possible. Tomorrow, we'll take Emma to the park and continue building this new, unexpected family. Next week, my parents will visit, another step in the long journey of reconciliation. The future stretches before us, no longer defined by secrets and separation, but by choices we make together. For the first time in my life, I feel complete. Not because I've found my missing half, but because I've discovered that I was whole all along, just as Lily was. We don't complete each other. We complement each other. Two flowers, finally blooming side by side.